Silence! So welcome back to the show. It's your boy Dub Zoro.
It's Monkey D.
And this is the YF1L show, dog. So today, man, I want to talk about something that's really been getting underneath my skin. All right, after joining TikTok, me and Monkey D, and we started to notice a slight trend. I don't want to call it a slight trend, but we're noticing a trend of conversations with debaters that we had and just with other anime people in the community, and there's a slight disconnect between the old generation shows and the old generation watchers and the new generation shows and the new generation watchers, and it seems to revolve around the plot of the story, the pace of the story, and the animation. For me, what I came up with was the idea or the thought, and I propose this question to you, Monkey, that is it maybe the disconnect is because of the streaming platforms are destroying the journey and the enjoyment and the overall breakdown of anime?
That's a simple yes. That's a simple yes, because a lot of the people who grew up watching anime when like Toonami first broke down the doors, and like you was getting like Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, like these were groundbreaking for us. Like the first animes like I seen was on HBO. Like how do you watch HBO as a kid? Like you can't. You gotta know somebody. You gotta be up past your curfew to watch these things. So like you were lucky to even get a chance to watch it, and then Toonami comes and breaks down the door, and then like you get all these great animes, but like they come out weekly, and it's just like, okay, well, we gotta sit down and wait. Like the filler episodes, like granted they were filler, but like you were excited for it. It's like, okay, I can't wait for this next week's episode to come. Nowadays, it's like binging has really just created so much GMO anime fans, bro.
Right, exactly. Because I feel, as you said, people are binging these shows, these new shows, and they're not actually taking in the actual content of the show to the best of his ability. And I'll use myself for an example. I'm guilty of it. After Naruto Shippuden ended, I was hungry for more anime, to satisfy my anime hunger. So I was just watching, God Eater, Akame ga Kill, just all these different anime shows, Gangsta, and I probably watched each and every one of them 4 to 5 times repeatedly, and I cannot tell you the main character's first name in any of these shows. God Eater or Akame ga Kill. Akame ga Kill, I can tell you a character in that show as Death, and it's only because she's a baddie. That's the only reason why I know who she is. And like I said, with these streaming platforms, it gives you a way to just binge, and you don't get to actually take in, like I said, taking the content. Like even with the filler episode that you mentioned, now you got a filler chart. You know what to skip and what not to skip. You're not there enjoying the journey of the show.
Like I wish they even had a filler episode. Like that was unheard of. When the TV got, like, you were lucky to even get a piece of your anime. You had to be there on time. You had to pay attention, and you had to like know somebody who watched other anime of like the other animes to like talk to them about things like that you might have missed in the episode. So it was a whole different time, whole different era of watching anime. And those people who watched anime grew up, and now like they're older, like they got kids, they're getting out of college, and the kids who are watching anime who like now they got like Hulu, Netflix, VRV, Crunchyroll. So they're watching all these old anime. It's just like, yo, man, it's too much filler. Not understanding why it was filler. Like, yo, man, it was going at the same time, and like you started break stuff and down to them. It's annoying because they're just like, well, why didn't they do that? Why didn't they take a break?
Okay, so I got a perfect example or a perfect question for you. Can you share with me and the audience some of the things that you've gotten when you've asked for, other intake from the TikTok community about why they don't watch a certain old gen anime? Some of the responses that you got from those guys. Can you share with us?
Oh, bet. Number one, pacing. Everybody's complaining about pacing. Everybody complains about art style, and everybody complains about just episodes being dragged on. I've even got one dude said that he just didn't watch it because he started it but he didn't want to finish it, which made no sense to me.
Right.
But a lot of these people are saying it during like Hulu and like all these big time streaming platforms put anime on there, and like now they're getting to it and it's just like, why are there so many episodes? Like, why do I have to watch this? Why do I have to watch that? Instead of like just enjoying it.
Right. So even so, and it's not so much a new gen thing, but even old generation watchers, they still can, get the plot and the pacing, jumbled up. Because I have an old gen watcher, try to tell me the other day that One Piece had too many filler episodes, and that's why they don't want to watch it. So it's like, I don't quite understand, where he's even trying to go with that. It's just like even with the filler, like I said, the fillers, it's an enjoyment because although it is a filler, you can still watch your main character do whatever it is that he wanted to. Or a lot of the fillers tend to focus more on the side characters.
Yeah.
So like Naruto, for instance, there was a whole filler chapter dedicated to Lee. So it's like the fillers, although they're not part of the main story, it can still give you some enjoyment out of that show.
Yeah, no, of course, but people just don't understand like build up, nuance, and like character development.
That's the big one right there.
Usually that's people who are like Demon Slayer fans, God Eater fans, God of High School fans. Just, it's frustrating because like, when you come from a time where it's just like, okay, just getting anime was a thing, and like now that it's everywhere, everybody's got an opinion where it's just like the how, and then when you ask them, and they can't really break it down, they call you an a-hole.
Right. It's like, no, we want to know why it is that you, as a new generation watcher, didn't like some of the older anime that we came up with. If we can, as an old generation, if we can take the time to, watch these new generation episodes, the new generation animes, and totally understand the concept, the plot behind it, the character development, and not truly complain about the pacing, because, like I said, the pacing and plot are not so much a new style issue, because the old gen animes have the same issue. Point in cases, Dragon Ball Z, or just the Dragon Ball period, because as we know, Dragon Ball Super kind of gears towards the new generation anime. Yeah, correct?
I'd agree.
So I give you a perfect example of this with Dragon Ball Z first. The Frieza arc, when Goku was battling Frieza. How long did Goku charge up?
Yo, he was in there for at least a good 4-5 episodes.
Bro, and there was only 5 minutes left on the planet before it imploded on itself. So it's like,
and when Dragon Ball, like people, a lot of these new gens do not understand why we have so much patience. When the Buu saga dropped after Vegeta blew up himself, it started over. Like Toonami went back to episode 1, started over, and then they played it over again, and then started over from that same episode again. I think they did it 2 or 3 times, and then you figured out what happened after that. Like, you don't get none of that, and for like a good 2 years.
Right.
2 years.
So So it's obvious that even with, and I'll give you an example just so we can make the comparison with and I'll give you Dragon Ball Super and then I'll give you Demon Slayer, right? Dragon Ball Super, right, and it's pacing in the Tournament of Power. It was stated that there was only 2 minutes left in the whole Tournament of Power, and somehow those 2 minutes turned into 3 episodes, 3 different episodes, right? And then the pacing with Demon Slayer, a certified new generation anime,
Certified.
you know, with Tanjiro and his training, right? And the 1 year or 2 year time skip that Tanjiro had in 10 minutes. There was no, with that pacing, that gave us no emotional content. That gave us no attachment to this training to see how significant this training was. All we got was he was practicing, trying to get ready to cut this rock or fight these ghosts from past Demon Slayer. So it was like, we can't. How do you get attached to something like that when you didn't really go through, with him?
But these are the same people talking about pacing problems in One Piece.
But so with that, I can understand, people's problems with the pacing because it's 22 years later. If you started 22 years ago, 22 years later, you know just as much about the One Piece as you did 22 years later or 22 years earlier. And Goldie Roger, we still know very little about him. The same can be said about a lot of these newer generation animes, besides the fact that it gives you everything up front. Within the first few episodes, you knew exactly the plot and how it's going to end for Demon Slayer. If you watch enough episodes, watch enough anime, you can finish Demon Slayer on your own.
Yes.
Without actually seeing the rest of it, and that's one of the things that the new generation anime gives that the old generation, I won't say necessarily doesn't do, but it knows how to keep you around. The old generation does. Right. They give you bits and pieces. They give you they're giving these breadcrumbs trying to lead you to the happy ending.
Instead of the new gen where they just give you everything all at once, you get the buffet
up front. So some could say that's the pacing for that is too fast, too much. It don't give you time to take in and digest what you just witnessed in these first 24 episodes of Demon Slayer.
But people will call us a hater for saying that though.
But it's just like, and it's just simple facts, what I'm saying? And these are also just opinions, and like we mentioned before, the toxic fan base in a lot of these anime shows is ridiculous. You're not able to state your opinion about a show without getting some type of grief or hate for it, and therein lies another disconnect in between the old gen and the new gen. It's just like, at the end of the day, are we all just supposed to be, enjoying the anime to the best of our ability and coming together to talk about it?
True.
And not necessarily beef about it?
Should, but there's gonna be people who out there who are gonna get butthurt because you don't think their anime is top. The second you start talking about their MC, they start looking for other reasons why yours is trash. Instead of being like, okay, I can understand why you say that. I don't agree, but bygones be bygones. But there's something about that. But
if you don't watch TV or there's no Cartoon Network or anything like that, you're not going to know about these newer animes that's coming out. So it's great for that, but it's at the same time, I think it hurts the anime community because you don't get the chance to actually. Some people know how to watch it, but some people just binge, and then it's like, I didn't get it. It was rushed or it took too long. It's just, take your time when you're watching these animes. Take your time and watch it to enjoy it. You watch it to binge and say, "Oh, I binge all my animes," because there's no coupon. You don't get no coupons. Watch the anime to enjoy it.
And the people that are complaining about animes coming out weekly, or you can tell the ones that binge it.
But that's it for today, man. It's your boy Dub Zoro.
Hey, Monkey D here.